What is up, everybody? My name is Kyle. I'm here to help be your guide to win your fantasy basketball league or leagues. Heck, I can't do just one. I'm in 12 leagues now, almost all on Yahoo, which still seems to be the most popular site for fantasy basketball leagues. So I'm going to be sharing my screen in a bit and showing you exactly what I do to win my leagues, win money, who the best guys to pick up on a week-to-week basis to stream are. I've been playing for 19 years now. I'm obsessed. It's my passion. I am diamond rated on Yahoo, which means I'm in the top 1%. And it's not easy to keep that ranking, right? It takes time, it takes dedication. And for me, I love to check every night. I love to put in bids. I love to add guys in the morning, put in bids at night. And I've got League Pass. So I'm watching all these games live. I was watching the Pistons get a W the other day. Finally caught Drummond going off on the Bulls for the Bulls again last night. And I'm excited to catch a little Magic Suns here before going out for New Year's Eve, right? So this channel is going to be about tips to win your league, right? And a lot of who to add, stream, and maybe keep on your teams going forward. Because now that we're halfway through the season, it's not as much about like strategies and draft stuff. It's about who we can add tomorrow that's going to help us win this week, right? But my success comes from using all or 90% of the ads each week to stream as many games as possible that week, right? Playing a lot of head-to-head matchup leagues. So it is all about winning that week. Now, before we get going, it would mean so much if you could, destroy that like button right there, not smash it. I'm saying demolish that like button and subscribe if you could as well. I'm just getting this channel going, and I just truly appreciate the support. I would love it, right? So I'm going to share my screen with you now and show you give you some credibility. First, demonstrate that on where kind of I am in these standings with these teams, right? And we're going to talk about who we're adding for tomorrow. But first, quickly start by jumping in, showing you how my teams are doing this way. We are halfway through the season in most leagues. And of my 10 teams that have a record right now going through these, third, second, 10th, not great, fourth, fifth, first, third, first, right? So 10 teams, 9 of them are in playoff position, and we're halfway through the season. That is what I'm most stoked about. And as we can see this week, we are winning a lot of leagues again, barely just losing a couple. So that's what we want to do. We want to keep winning every single week with as many leagues as possible. And some of these, right, are $250 leagues. So these are serious, smart players that we're talking about. So let's look at the top available guys that I'm adding for Monday. And I want to show you one way that I find the most valuable in adding guys. So I'm popping over to one of my leagues now, and we always got to go sort by the next day, right? We're all about streaming, right? We're going to see who we can stream to really get most value and start off hot. I like doing it by either last 14 days, like we see here, or last 7 days, right? Either one. I kind of go back and forth, and I see who's the best guy available, right? And I'm going by current standings right here. And we're seeing Nesmith, right? DiVincenzo is one that I would consider because he blew up with 38 points his career. I had this the most insane game ever. He's got some great games sprinkled in. One thing that scares me a little bit, Minnesota D. So the Minnesota D is one of the best in the league. So if I can avoid that, I might. And let's go with Nesmith because the Bucks D, we can do that. And Nesmith has been more, let's say more stable, right? More consistent, right? Look at these numbers. I just love looking back like the past 6, 7 games and seeing where he's at. Games on 1, 3, 5, we like that. But heck, we could drop Nesmith. If he doesn't do well, we're going to drop him. He could just be the flavor of the week, right? But we're going to go with a bid on Nesmith. And you can see I actually already did that. I was also looking at maybe Derrick Jones Jr. because he's putting some really solid stat lines together. And he's got great matchups too. So I like either Derrick Jones Jr. or Nesmith. But I think Nesmith is just, he's obviously ranked better lately. And I like what he does just from that standpoint. So if we go to my team, I'm going to put a $2, usually it's $1 or $2. For him, I'm putting a $2 bid in because he always has dropped and added, it seems like left and right. But I like him more than most guys. So I'm going to put a $2 bid in there and we'll be good to go on that. Next, we're going to pop over to another team. And this is my cover guy. This is who we've got right here. My guy, Keyonte George, right? And I had him on 3 teams a bit ago. He got hurt, right? We'll dig into that in a second, right? But as you can see, I have 2 bids going for this league, one for George, one for Hart, right? So let's just pop in and see kind of what George has done. Because this guy was starting before he got hurt. I'm going to pull up his, and sorry, this production, this screen sharing, and my computer's even a little slow. Like all of this is going to get better. I'm really excited. My wife is done this as a podcast now for me. We are really going to be diving and digging and making this content really amazing. But right now, this is just about getting content out, but the production value is just going to keep going up and up. But let's talk about my guy, the cover guy, Keyonte George, right? 32% roster drops -6%, right? So people are dropping this guy, but why, right? 21 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He's an assist guy. And he really reminds me of a little bit like Scoot Henderson right now. He's getting a terrible shooting percentage typically, right? 600 was great, 60% last time. Likes to dish out the assists, right? We can see that here. Look at this last game before he got hurt. 33-7. He had 11 there. This guy's a budding star. They were starting him. Now he's coming off the bench, but he had the second most minutes in this last game against the Heat, this nice W that I was watching some of too. Like this guy is super aggressive. And if he can get confidence, like that's what he lacks a little bit, but he's getting more of, and the team is giving him that too. Just like Scoot, who I recommended a couple of videos ago, he back-to-back career high games for him, right? He's getting more confidence, he's shooting more. That's what we love to see. So I love Keyonte George, and that's why we can see that I'm gonna add him in for a $2 bid right here. And go with my guy Josh Hart. And the reason Josh Hart, we know what Josh Hart brings. He's consistent, great rebounding, and we don't know how this whole thing is going to shake out right now with OG coming over, right? So I'll jump in here. He had a pretty good game last time out here. We can see that was 10, 10, 1, 1, 38 minutes, one of the most minutes. So I don't know how his minutes are going to be, right? But I think it's worth just getting him on at least 1 or 2 teams. I already have him on a couple teams, but I think it's really, I mean, you saw what DiVincenzo did. Hart could do the same. He could have some monster games and just trying to establish who's going to be that third guy, really, right? So let's pop over to another team, and that's going to be one where we're adding Kelly Olynyk, right? And I want to pop in and look at his stats too. Just like Keyonte George, playing on the Jazz. But what's great about this, and I didn't show you, and I'm going to pop over here in a second, is the matchups that Utah has coming up. If we see, I'll pop back over here to Olynyk. It's Dallas and it's Detroit, right? And Olynyk is coming off just crazy games, 19, 6, 10. He just provides solid field goal percentage. He's ranked 85 in the season. Steals, blocks. He just does a little bit of everything, which is really nice. But the matchups are huge. Detroit and Dallas. And we go to that. We see Dallas is 22nd. Detroit is 25th. So we're getting these are going to be high scoring games. So that's just a big thing you want to look at is that right there. And so I like Olynyk, I like George, right? And I like Nesmith as well, right? And then lastly, I want to wrap up here by talking about a trade I made in this one league, right? The reason being is that this is my one team that's out of the playoff position, right? And it's a decent team. I've got a lot of guys who are ranked actually in the top 100, but we got to make a change. Something has got to happen to help. And I'm losing again 4-5 this week, so I'm not gaining on there. So what I did, I said, I need quantity. I need more guys back. So I put out an email your league. You can email the entire league. It's a little feature in there. You can go to the league, email league, which I did. I said, I want a 2-for-1. I'll do 2-for-1 for Tatum, right? Or Siakam. And I got a deal done with this guy, and I got back a pretty decent haul. I got back Kuzma, right? But who cares about Kuzma more? Let's go to look at the season. We're looking at DeJounte Murray, right? And if we're looking at the total season, Tatum is ranked 27th. Murray is ranked 26th. And a big reason is the steals number. This guy's a steals extraordinaire. Low turnovers as well, but he just does it all. So this guy, I put him, he's technically ahead of Tatum, but obviously people are going to rate Tatum a little higher. But on top of that, then we're getting Kuzma, who's ranked 103, not that spectacular, but he has not let Poole take over this team like many thought. So Kuzma is still dominating this team. And what's really nice is when you make a trade and you see right the day he made a trade, Kuzma's going off for his best game of the year. 7 threes, 38, 8, 5, just a monster game. Again, I've talked about in the other videos, career games. When guys have career games, that boosts their confidence. They're shooting more the next game. He shot 31 attempts. So Kuzma is going to be hucking it. I'm stoked. I don't have him on any teams. I've got Murray on one already. I love having Murray on my teams for the steals factor. It's going to suck losing Tatum. But look at it. This is what happens a lot too. These 128-97, like they're beating people by 30. He's resting. They've got so many other options there. He's not getting that usage that he used to. Tatum is still awesome, but if I can get him for a similar guy, Murray, and add Kuzma, I need to do that, right? But another reason that I like this and why I always check before I do trades is I use this fantasy basketball playoff schedule. And I use this before the season starts too, but we want to go check. This league ends April 7th, right? And we can see, let's see who has the most games then. These are the total games the guys have across those three playoffs. Hawks 11, Celtics 11, and then we also see the Wizards. That's where Kuz is on 11 as well. So they're all equal. So I'm not losing, I'm not gaining. But what's really nice is, too, the Hawks have it in the semis and the finals. They have 4 games. Whereas the Celtics, Jason Tatum, he's going to start in that first round. So, he has 3 and 4. So it's better to even have him back-ended where I get him in the semifinals and the finals should I make it there. But that's what I plan to do. And when I draft, one really helpful thing that I do in my drafts, I'm always looking at this. And this season, I went in and I scrolled and I saw there was one team that had 9 games, just one, the Mavericks, 2 in the first matchup. 2 when the very first matchup. That is terrible. So I avoided Doncic. I avoided Kyrie Irving. I said, I cannot have my star player have 2 games in the first playoff matchup. I can't do that. So I avoided them. But what I also did, I focused on getting Tyrese Maxey on 3 teams. I got Tobias Harris on 3 teams because the 76ers have max games across the board. I also got Sabonis on a few teams as well. So focusing on that, using something like that, is really big before the draft starts, right? And I'll be doing some evergreen videos about my strategy going into drafts, things like that. But I want to get out content right now that's obviously going to be helpful in what we can do right now, rest of season. We are at the halfway mark. So a big thing about that trade, make trades if you're in a position where you need to, right? And then one last helpful tip, which I did today on Sunday. I have a timer set up 8 minutes before the final Sunday, the final game on Sunday. So today was 5 o'clock. So I set my time for 4:52. I went through my teams and I went and looked, is there anybody that I need to bench right now? Because I might lose turnovers if they play, or it might mess up my field goal percentage or my free throw percentage. So always set a timer 8 to 10 minutes ahead of the last game on Sunday and look at your teams and look at your opponent. See if he has any guys left, if you have any guys left, and if you maybe need to bench one of those guys so you can preserve turnovers, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, whatever it may be. Just a nice tip there. Other than that, guys, Happy New Year, right? Get those New Year's resolutions going too. I'm a big fan of creating some. One of mine is going to be to put out 100 videos in 2024 on fantasy hoops, fantasy baseball, which I love as well, and maybe some stock picks every now and then too, right? Again, Happy New Year. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you can. Good luck with all your teams. See you guys in 2024.